What's going on there, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other day I saw something absolutely hilarious over on Twitter by the Ghost of Hope, and honestly, I completely agree in every way, shape, and form. You know, Activision really had something phenomenal here and a great concept that would work perfectly for the Call of Duty franchise. But sadly, with how they, want to push with this overall game, again, I might just be becoming, an old head or something of that sort. But seriously, they're pushing with a direction that just ruins this overall cool concept. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget subscribing and hit that bell. Post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. Everything between COD, Battlefield, Splitgate 2, Ark Raiders. I try to discuss as many FPS games that I personally enjoy and, want to follow on this channel. So if you guys do enjoy that variety, by all means, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, I'm going to link that channel down in the description of this video. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as I stated before, the Ghost of Hope went ahead and put out a tweet saying, "Crazy how the idea of carry forward should be seen as a huge positive for us as consumers, but BO6 has completely ruined the idea of it with stupid collab after stupid collab." What a joke. And I gotta be real with you guys, I never really, really sat down and thought about this too heavily until just now when it comes to how much of a disappointment it is with how carry forward is being treated within Call of Duty. As a concept, it's genius, Call of Duty only lasts a year. Pisses me off, to be completely honest with you guys. I wish that they would put out a Call of Duty game every 2 to 3 years, which would personally build a little hype within the community, build a little excitement for people to actually want a brand new COD game. It will make them feel less samey is the best way I could put it. Let's be real here. Every single COD game that has been releasing in the recent years feels exactly the same. If you didn't tag a development team on any of these games and you just released them bit by bit, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference. Compared to back in the day, you could clearly feel, see, and just witness the differences between Infinity Ward style Call of Duty games and Treyarch style Call of Duty games. And that's what made it so unique, Obviously, back in the day, there was more stuff to add to the franchise, right? So a yearly franchise can definitely have a lot more to it compared to nowadays because there was nothing in COD, right? COD 4 and World at War had 3 streaks, right? Then you go over to Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1, and you have a massive amount of streaks, and then going over to Modern Warfare 3 and adding in, specialists and all these other things, and, Black Ops 2 adding in some really crazy concept. We had huge upgrades that allow Call of Duty to feel fresh every single time around. But current date, they keep ramping them home year after year after year. There's only so much creativity to go around, and you just end up seeing the same game over and over again. So carry forward was a phenomenal concept because you actually felt a reason to go ahead and invest time into the game itself. Not just money. I know a lot of people think carry forward only, matters when it comes down to what you buy in the store and your purchases. Yeah, that's, very important. But it also means for everything you've progressed in the game, max camos. If you grinded out the camo grind, you'll be able to use those in the next game. Your time was actually worth something for the year. Same thing with events that you complete, and even if they go ahead and transfer over the weapons as well. Although I'm a little skeptical on that because when they transferred Modern Warfare 2 weapons over to Modern Warfare 3, it was a disaster. So I don't know if that's going to be the, I don't know if they can ever make that a good thing, but if they can, that as well. All the progression on the weapons, all of these things, just kind of encourage you to play the next Call of Duty game because it's like, okay, my time isn't going to be wasted. And I feel like that's why a lot of people hop out of the COD cycle because of exactly that. They feel like their time is being wasted. Why bother grinding out a COD game if it's literally going to be relevant, not in a year, but within months? Why even put in that effort? But this whole concept is just simply destroyed by the direction of what this game looks like now. If you could actually maintain that beginning military theme that these COD games typically launch in, things would be fine if they could progress the whole game for the whole year with that same theme. And then when it transfers over, you'll still get that main military theme. But Modern Warfare 3 2023, although I thought it was a really fun game, it suffered from exactly what I just explained. That military theme was non-existent day one. You couldn't even feel it because every single corny, insane skin that they went ahead and introduced into Modern Warfare 2 2022 transferred right over. So there was no month to 2 month, grace period where you get to relax, not see any, wild stuff in your COD game. It was right there, simply at the launch. And that is our biggest problem. And it's gotten worse since Modern Warfare 2 2022 moving over to Modern Warfare 3. I mean, look at some of these skins that we have now, ladies and gentlemen. We have like Stan Smith from American Dad. They also added in Roger skins. And guys, that's not even the beginning. We already discussed the Beavis and Butthead stuff. And a lot of this stuff I don't hate. I gotta be real. I enjoy a lot of these shows, ladies and gentlemen. So no hate whatsoever. But I'm telling you, when it comes to the vibes of, a COD game, I just don't like this. People always try to pull one over on me saying, oh, he doesn't mind this stuff in the finals or he doesn't mind it in Splitgate. But oh, goodness gracious, and God, it's a problem. Because the finals in Splitgate established a theme. Well, actually, it wasn't even Splitgate, but some people have said it about Splitgate, but mostly X-Defined as well. I didn't care about what the skins look like in X-Defined because, again, they established their themes. X-Defined was already advertised from day one to be like a punk rock style FPS shooter. They were not taking it serious whatsoever. Yeah, they had some pretty cool, tactical skins because they're taking factions from the Tom Clancy universe. But still, they branched out and made some pretty wild stuff. Same thing with Splitgate, same thing with, the finals, because they all established themselves, like the finals and Splitgate, like game shows. They established themselves in such a way that certain skins work. Fortnite, for example, works perfectly with all these type of skins for what the game is. But Call of Duty, down to its core, just like Battlefield, and you guys see how the Battlefield community reacts to all this stuff as well, because exactly like COD, this game started off as a military shooter. It's not realistic. Don't get me wrong. It's an arcade game, fun, fast-paced. When it comes to gunplay and all this stuff, it's not realistic whatsoever. But when it comes to the visuals, it was still immersive enough that it added to the experience. That was a charm of Call of Duty back in the day. And that is a charm that people do enjoy. Tactical, you can call it as many names as you want, but it's a popular style. It's something that people genuinely like in games. You could be flashy within games like COD and Battlefield without taking it over the top where it just simply does not make sense whatsoever to see it within a Call of Duty game. That's my biggest problem. And that right there absolutely, as I stated, destroys any type of vibe when it comes to carry forward. In my personal opinion, and of course, it's my opinion. You guys have to remember this, I make content about what I personally think. It's irrelevant, right? I'm just another person out there. Stop taking it so personal. Take a deep breath, relax, and you can share your opinions as well, right? And honestly, I do understand I'm in the minority now. Let's be real. Call of Duty, they get more money from microtransactions than they do for their base game sales. It doesn't matter. Everything that I'm saying right now is absolutely irrelevant, but it's how I personally feel. Carry forward would be an absolutely phenomenal feature if they could actually keep the military theme of the game intact. I would love this to be implemented in a lot more COD games, being able to transfer skins, progression, everything that I have worked and unlocked in previous COD games, even if it has to be in, their own specific universes. Like Black Ops can only transfer to Black Ops, and Modern Warfare can only transfer to Modern Warfare. Makes complete utter sense to me. If they can just keep that cool, tactical, military vibe to a COD game intact, and it could be flashy. I've already stated this. It can absolutely be flashy. There could be some outlandish skins. I don't mind. You guys remember back in the day? I mean, Black Ops 2 had some insane skins you can go ahead and put on your gun. You can even have a bacon camo on your gun, right? It was never a massive problem. But I feel like my issue now is that you're literally playing. You're not even playing as soldiers anymore. You're playing as animals. You're playing as pets. You're playing as cartoons. You're playing as everything besides an actual military soldier. And that's what throws me out of the mix the most. And if they could incorporate that style into COD again while maintaining a carry forward system, I think it would absolutely pop in a perfect way. But let's be real, that is honestly a completely unrealistic, expectation. And sadly, we won't see it anytime soon. But I still wanted to go ahead and put this video together to showcase this tweet by the Ghost of Hope because I really do agree with his statement. And I think he's telling the truth. It's actually a good consumer-friendly system that, works pretty nicely, minus weapons not, being that good, like the Modern Warfare 2 guns being kind of garbage throughout the whole lifespan of Modern Warfare 3, no matter how much they tried. I don't know how they would resolve that, but when it comes to camos and progression and skins and all the stuff that you have worked for in the previous game, very consumer-friendly. awesome for a game that is yearly, that, I guess Activision will never allow it to be on a 2 to 3 year life cycle. So for a game that has to be yearly, that's great, right? But it's just ruined, absolutely ruined by some of these collabs that Activision thinks are just, phenomenal, and I guess they might be. If they're making cash, they're making cash for a reason. They have to be popular to a certain degree. And it's just kind of crazy to watch Call of Duty change right before my eyes, following this franchise from the very beginning. It is just mind-boggling how quickly things can change. You look away for a second, you come on through again, and everything changes. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post your daily at 8 in the morning Eastern time. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Splitgate 2, Arc Raiders, and if any other shooters come along, I want to discuss Gears of War E-Day. There's a lot of games that I personally enjoy that I would love to talk about over on this channel. So if you guys enjoy the variety, by all means, leave a like, leave a dislike. All is welcome. And subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, if you guys are interested, I'm going to link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.